Hey everybody, we are going to start our new book. Last week we finished up A Bear Named Trouble, and it was awesome. I love that book. It tied in great with our animal study, our mammal study. So now we're going to kind of switch gears, and we are going to start a book that's going to go along with our U.S. history study that we're doing on the Civil War. And this book is part of the Magic Treehouse series. I know most of you are probably familiar with that series, but in case you aren't, it's a whole series of books. I don't know how many books are in this series. I mean, 30, 40, 50, I don't know. There are a ton of them, okay? And so the one that we're going to do is Magic Treehouse number 21, and it's called Civil War on Sunday. So I'm going to show you the cover. And I want you to take just a minute and look at the cover and see, what do you notice, okay? We're going to look at this illustration on the cover. It's by Mary Pope Osborne. And we're going to look at the illustration and see, what do we notice? What do you think? Look at these guys down here. What do you notice? Do you think that they are soldiers? And if so, look at their uniforms, look at their weapons. And you see these two kids here in the front. Looks like they are helping this other child. You see how the other child or soldier here is leaning on them. They're helping him. Look at their clothes. Look at the clothes from the boy and the girl. Does that look like modern clothes? Does it look like the clothes that you and I wear every day now? Or do you think that this is from a point back in history? So just look at the cover here and see what kind of observations you can make. And see what that makes you think about, what you think our book might be about. To give you a little bit of a background, the Magic Treehouse books, this whole series is they're adventure books where a character named Morgan Le Fay sends these two kids that are brother and sister, Jack and Annie. So this is Jack and Annie right here. These two kids, Jack and Annie, are sent on these adventures all over the world and through time. They can go back in time. And they go on these adventures by using their magic treehouse. So here you can see the ladder that goes up. So they have this magic treehouse that can kind of transport them anywhere in the world, anytime in history. So for this particular book, they're going to go back in time to the Civil War. And I'll read to you the prologue at the beginning. Here's the prologue. I'm going to read this part. This will give us a little introduction. This gives us some information that's going to come before the chapters of the book. Okay. One summer day in Frog Creek, Pennsylvania, and this is the fictional town where Jack and Annie live. Jack and Annie live in Frog Creek, Pennsylvania. A mysterious treehouse appeared in the woods. 8-year-old Jack and his 7-year-old sister Annie climbed into the treehouse. They found that it was filled with books. So they're 7 and 8. So they are same age as you guys, or a little older than some of you, but they're right around your age. Jack and Annie soon discovered that the treehouse was magic. It could take them to places in the books. All they had to do was point to a picture and wish to go there. So they could open up one of these books, point to a picture, and the magic treehouse would whisk them away. Along the way, Jack and Annie discovered that the treehouse belongs to Morgan Le Fay. Morgan is a magical librarian of Camelot, the long-ago kingdom of King Arthur. She travels through time and space gathering books. In Magic Treehouse books 5 through 8, Jack and Annie helped free Morgan from a spell. In books 9 through 12, she solved 4 ancient riddles and became master librarians. In Magic Treehouse books 13 through 16, Jack and Annie had to save 4 ancient stories from being lost forever. In Magic Treehouse books 17 through 20, Jack and Annie freed a mysterious little dog from a magic spell. In Magic Treehouse books 21 through 24, Jack and Annie have a new challenge, and that's where we are. This is book number 21. So in this grouping of books 21, 22, 23, and 24, Jack and Annie have a new challenge. They must find 4 special kinds of writings for Morgan's library to help save Camelot. They're about to set off to find the first of these. So that's where we are going to start with this book right here. We're going to start with chapter 1, and they're going to be off on their new adventure. Chapter 1 is titled A Light in the Woods. A Light in the Woods. Jack looked out his window. It was a dreary Sunday afternoon. There were dark clouds in the sky. What does that mean, dreary? If it's a dreary day, or you're in a dreary mood, what does that mean? It gives us one clue here. It says there's dark clouds in the sky. So do you think a dreary day is like a bright, fun, sunshiny day? Or is kind of dark and gloomy and maybe kind of sad feeling? Thunder rumbled in the distance. Jack stared down the street at the Frog Creek woods. When is the Magic Treehouse coming back? He wondered. Hey, guess what? Annie said. She charged into Jack's room. I saw a light flash in the woods. It was just lightning, said Jack. No, it was magic, a swirl of light, said Annie. I think the treehouse just came back. So the treehouse is not there all the time. It says in the prologue that they discovered, it says that a mysterious treehouse appeared in the woods. So it's not there all the time. It sort of comes and goes. I'm sure it was just lightning, Jack said. Didn't you hear the thunder? Yeah, said Annie, but let's go check anyway. She started out of Jack's room. Then she peeked back in. Bring your backpack, just in case, she said. Jack was always glad for a chance to look for the Magic Treehouse. He grabbed his backpack and followed Annie down the stairs. Where are you going? Their mom called. Out to play, said Annie. Don't go far, said their mom, and come in if it starts to rain. We will, said Jack. Don't worry. They slipped out the front door. Then they ran up the street and into the Frog Creek woods. The woods were dark under the storm clouds. A cool wind shook the leaves. Soon Jack and Annie came to the tallest oak tree. Oh, man, said Jack. You were right. The Magic Treehouse stood out against the gray sky. Morgan, called Annie. There was no sign of the enchantress. Let's go up, said Jack. He grabbed the rope ladder and started up. Annie followed. So here on the back, this is the rope ladder right here. You can see them going to the tallest oak tree, and they climb up the rope ladder. They climbed into the tree house. It was hard to see in the dim light. So that's another good vocabulary word, dim. So if it's dim light, knowing what we've just been told about the dark clouds, the gray sky, do you think that dim light means that there's just a little bit of faint light, or do you think dim light means that it's really bright? Okay. Dim light means like there's just a little bit of light, just enough to see. They climbed into the treehouse. It was hard to see in the dim light. Look, said Annie. She pointed to a piece of paper and a book lying on the floor. Jack picked up the paper. Annie picked up the book. Listen, said Jack. He held the paper close to the window and read aloud. Dear Jack and Annie, Camelot is in trouble. To save the kingdom, please find these 4 special kinds of writing for my library. Something to follow, something to send, something to learn, something to lend. Thank you, Morgan. So here's the picture of them in the treehouse. And over here, this is the letter that Morgan wrote. Camelot is in trouble, said Jack. What's that mean? I don't know, said Annie, but we better hurry and find these writings. Let's go look for the first, something to follow. I wonder where we should look for it, said Jack. What's the title of the book you're holding? Annie held the book close to the window to read the title. Yikes, she said softly. She showed the book to Jack. On the cover was a painting of a peaceful-looking field and a blue sky. The title said, "The Civil War." "The Civil War?" said Jack. "Cool." Annie frowned. "Cool?" she said. "War's not cool." Sort of is," said Jack uncomfortably. He knew war was bad, but some parts of it seemed fun, like a game. "I guess we'll find out," said Annie. She pointed at the cover. "I wish we could go there." And when she points at the cover, here's what happens. Thunder boomed through the woods. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster, then everything was still. Absolutely still. And that is the end of chapter 1. So they have gotten their letter. They've got their instructions. They found the book, pointed to the picture, and whoosh, off they are to the Civil War. So they're traveling through time, and they're going to travel also to another location. Okay, so we'll find out in chapter 2 where they end up. Okay, see you tomorrow.